Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Picture this. It's an ordinary Tuesday morning. Your alarm goes off, you stretch, getting ready to tackle the day. But as you swing your legs out of bed, something feels terribly, absolutely wrong. Standing up suddenly feels like you're trying to piggyback an entirely separate person. Your muscles are screaming. Your knees, they are trembling violently. Just taking a single step toward your bedroom door takes this massive, intense, conscious effort. So what's going on here? Well, you haven't actually gained any mass. Actually, scratch that. It's not about your mass at all. The fundamental force holding you to the earth just completely changed. And this brilliantly illustrates the physics of the situation. It's staggering, really. Normally, a 70-kilogram person deals with, well, 70 kilograms of downward force. But in this new reality, without gaining a single ounce, that downward force has literally doubled. Congratulations, you are now lugging around an invisible 70-kilogram backpack everywhere you go. Every tiny movement becomes an absolute exhausting workout.
You know, if you manage to drag yourself to the window, the immediate chaos outside is wild. Down on the sidewalk, there's a pigeon flapping its wings frantically, but it barely hovers a few inches off the ground before just giving up. Across the street, a cyclist is totally losing control, completely unable to pedal up even the slightest incline. And off in the distance, you can actually hear massive construction cranes groaning under loads they were never, ever engineered to handle.
This is the reality of the first minute, a world fighting its own weight. As the confusion spreads globally, millions of people instinctively try to stand up, only to find their own bodies betraying them. Simply walking? It's a grueling test of endurance. Running is almost completely impossible. It is, quite literally, a world abruptly at war with itself.
These cascading failures in the first minute are absolutely critical. Hospitals are immediately flooded with emergencies. Why? Because human hearts are suddenly working overtime, straining incredibly hard just to pump blood upwards against this massive new pole. The elderly are struggling. Athletes are collapsing. Outside, birds and larger flying creatures are totally grounded. Commercial airliners fight a terrifying battle for lift, with pilots desperately recalculating engine power just to stay in the sky. And down on the ground, those tower cranes and elevators are groaning under unimaginably heavy new loads.
Now, let's step back and look at the infrastructural collapse on day one. Transportation, energy, construction. It's been 24 hours. The initial panic has kind of passed, but the real consequences? They're setting in. Civilization is grinding to an absolute halt. Traffic crawls, heavy trucks struggle on hills, and aviation is practically grounded. Then there's energy. Electricity is actively being rationed because elevators, factory motors, and even water pumps suddenly demand way more power just to fight the heavier gravity. Oh, and construction stops completely. Tall skyscrapers are totally evacuated for structural assessments.
The greatest danger isn't how people feel, it's what this invisible force is doing to every structure on Earth. This quote perfectly captures the terrifying realization scientists and engineers would face almost immediately. As brutal as it is for our bodies, the built environment is the real ticking time bomb. Every single bridge, dam, and skyscraper was precisely engineered with safety margins designed for exactly one constant level of gravity, not two. They simply weren't built for this.
A planet under pressure. 1 month later. So fast forward a month, and humanity has stopped asking what just happened and is desperately trying to figure out what happens next. We really have to look at the macro scale now, because it's not just our cities feeling the squeeze, it's the entire planet. The natural world is actively beginning to rewrite itself under this immense new weight.
The physical changes are profound. The atmosphere compresses, pulling closer to the surface, which makes the air way denser at sea level. This completely shifts our weather patterns, spawning incredibly intense new storm systems. And the oceans, they're crashing into the shore with far greater force, dramatically accelerating coastal erosion. Even the mountains aren't immune. They're experiencing more frequent landslides and rockfalls, slowly wearing down faster than they ever have before in Earth's history.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how evolution favors the compact. We see a massive biological divergence. Large animals, like elephants, suffer terribly. Their skeletons just can't handle the doubled weight. But smaller, more compact creatures, they actually thrive. Evolution abruptly favors the lightweight. And scientists predict future humans will change too. Over generations, we'd likely evolve to be shorter, with much thicker bones and stronger hearts. We'd become a species, physically rewritten for a heavier world.
But perhaps the biggest change isn't physical at all. It's the psychological shift, dreaming of escaping gravity. For all of human history, we looked up and dreamed of touching the clouds. But under this crushing weight, the human spirit pivots.
Instead of trying to build higher on Earth, we start pouring unprecedented funding and resources into space agencies. The collective dream of humanity shifts toward escaping gravity altogether, finding some relief beyond our heavy atmosphere. We stop being victims and we start innovating.
The verdict. 100 years later. What is the ultimate verdict here? It's an absolutely awe-inspiring testament to human resilience. The Earth didn't become uninhabitable, and humanity definitely did not go extinct. We survived the transition. The impossible, grueling struggle of those early days and months slowly, generation by generation, became perfectly ordinary.
Civilization adapts, and it looks entirely different now. Instead of towering up into the sky, our cities spread outward, hugging the ground with shorter, heavily reinforced structures. And sports? Totally transformed. High jump records are literally ancient myths now. Instead, we have shorter marathons and brand new competitions that celebrate pure, unadulterated endurance and strength in the face of this massive gravity.
So, the crucial point is our absolute willingness and capacity to adapt. This is the new normal for humanity. Cities feature shorter, reinforced buildings. Medicine pivots to treatments that strengthen children's bones and muscles from an early age. Artificial joints are now stronger than steel. Exoskeletons aid manual labor, becoming everyday tools. And powered support suits assist the elderly, becoming as common as eyeglasses once were. We literally engineered our way out of the crisis.
And remember that huge psychological shift towards space? Well, it paid off. Ironically, the heavier Earth fundamentally pushed humanity right to the stars. Mars becomes humanity's second home. Orbiting factories and scientific labs flourish in microgravity. We built permanent cities on the moon. And eventually, Mars became way more than just a dusty outpost. It became a true home, a place to actually experience the freedom of lighter gravity again.
Let's move to and see how this builds across humanity's journey of survival. The timeline is staggering. Minute 1, absolute global panic and immense physical strain. Day 1, infrastructural halt and an energy crisis. Month 1, we watched nature and biology begin their brutal but necessary adaptations. And finally, by year 100, space colonization and a totally new normal. It's a harrowing but ultimately triumphant journey.
So, is gravity our greatest force, or is it hope? It leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to ponder. If you woke up tomorrow in a world where every single step felt twice as heavy, do you think you could adapt? Our explainer today shows that while civilization is built of concrete and steel, its true foundation is resilience. No matter how powerful nature becomes, our greatest force has never been gravity. It's hope. Thanks for exploring this with us, and we invite you to keep joining us to break down more fascinating topics. Keep asking questions and keep learning.